Thanksgiving dinner, my grandmother asked me, what the heck is this Bitcoin stuff anyway, right? And I said to her, do you remember when Visa cards first came out? You were used to paying with cash or with a check, and then a Visa came out. It was this weird payment system that you didn't understand. And she said, yeah, I remember that. I said, well, Bitcoin is just the next evolution of another payment system.
Brace yourself, Nakamoto was the foundation.
What up guys, Nakamoto Crypto here. Bitcoin is now the 6th largest currency in the world with a market cap of just over $300 billion. Today we are discussing whether or not one day BTC can flip the US dollars and become the world's #1 currency. Stay tuned, like and subscribe. Let's get to 400 subscribers. 2020 has been a crazy year so far. When the pandemic hit, the US dollar was as mighty as ever. Despite the talks of faltering American supremacy, the dollar ruled as the medium of international trade, the anchor which other nations value their currency in, and the world's reserve currencies that most central banks hold as their savings. But this hasn't been always the case, as before the US, only 5 world superpowers have enjoyed this reserve currency title, and this goes back all the way to the mid-1400s, with first being Portugal, then Spain, then the Netherlands, then France, then the Great Britain. And all of those 5 world superpowers have one thing in common: their monetary system ruled the world and only lasted 94 years on average. But at the beginning of 2020, the US dollar outlasted all of those superpowers as it lasted 100 years. And that would have been the reason to question how much longer can the US dollar go on like this. Now there are contenders. Europe had hopes for the euro that was introduced back in 1999, but the currency has failed to gain the world's trust, and owing to doubts about the effectiveness of the Eurozone multi-state government. US officials were thus confident that in response to the pandemic lockdowns, they could print the dollar in limitless quantities without undermining its reserve currency status, allowing the country to keep running large deficits without apparent consequences. But a new class of contenders are now emerging, and one of them is Bitcoin, operating on a peer-to-peer network ungoverned by any state. The pandemic has made those crypto pitches sound less like pure digital hype. Fearful that central banks, led by the US Federal Reserves, are debasing the value of their currencies, many people have now bought Bitcoin in bulk, and its price has more than quadrupled since March of 2020, making it one of the hardest investments of this year. Since its launch back in 2009, Bitcoin's holders have aspired to establish it as digital gold, a trusted store of value that offers safe haven in multiple times, but doubters find it hard to feel safe investing in an asset that is so volatile. The last Bitcoin bubble popped less than 3 years ago back in 2018, and its daily price swings are still 4 times larger than gold. The skeptics are particularly well represented among those who did not grow up with digital technology. These old school guys tend to prefer gold, hence Warren Buffett. And gold has been purchased as a protection against the decline of standard currencies for hundreds of years. In a recent survey, only 3% of baby boomers said that they actually owned cryptocurrencies, compared with the 27% of millennials. Still, those numbers are rising to this day, and there are reasons to think that this Bitcoin rush has deeper roots. It comes at a turning point for the US dollar. Last year, after mounting for decades, the US debt to the rest of the world surpassed 50% of its economic output, a threshold that often signals an oncoming crash. Since then, with the government borrowing heavily under the lockdown, those liabilities have sparked to 67% of the output, deep in the warning zone. The dollar's reign is likely coming to an end when the rest of the world start losing confidence that the US can keep up paying its bills, and that is how dominant currencies fell in the past. Moreover, the US and other major governments show little enthusiasm for reining in the mounting deficits. Money printing is likely to continue even when the pandemic passes. Trust it or not, Bitcoin will gain, widening distrust in the traditional alternatives. Bitcoin is also starting to make progress on its ambition to replace the US dollar as a medium of exchange. Today, most Bitcoin are held as an investment, not used to pay any bill, but that is changing as smaller businesses are now starting to use Bitcoin in international trades, particularly in countries where the dollar can be hard to come by, such as Nigeria, where the local currency is unstable, or another country where the local currency is unstable, and that is Argentina. And in recent weeks, PayPal and its Venmo subsidiary have started storing Bitcoin with an eye towards accepting it as a payment next year, presenting it to their 300 million customers, and that might be the revolutionary point for BTC. Another global company that got into Bitcoin recently is Fidelity Digital Asset Investments, which will now allow their institutional customers to pledge Bitcoin as a collateral against cash loans in partnership with blockchain startup BlockFi. The unit of Boston-based asset manager Fidelity Investment will hold the digital asset and not make loans itself. Tom Jessop, the president of Fidelity Digital Assets, said in an interview, "The target is Bitcoin investors who want to turn their digital stash into cash without selling, and potential customers including hedge funds, crypto miners, and over-the-counter trading desks." So the new service from Fidelity comes after Bitcoin beats its 2017 all-time high price earlier this month, before retracing back down in the past recent days. The world's most valuable digital asset has risen 164% just this year alone. Massive gains for Bitcoin in 2020. Despite the pandemic, BTC hit as high as $19,700 and is currently sitting around the $19,000 mark. And now it's only a matter of time before BTC breaks the 20K level. So holding Bitcoin to back loans is a foundational capability, according to the CEO of Fidelity, Jessop. He states that as the market grows, we would expect that this becomes a fairly important part of the ecosystem. Fidelity said that institutional investors' interest in digital currencies are rising every single day. A survey that the asset manager conducted earlier this year found that 36% of respondents held crypto in their portfolios. More than 6 out of 10 people expressed their interest in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, and up to 47% are now buying it in a 2019 survey. Fidelity began a Bitcoin custody service last year, but this is the first time it is allowing the coins to be used as collateral for loans. So simply to get a loan nowadays, a Fidelity customer will have to simply have an account with BlockFi, use their crypto as a collateral, and they got their money. While Jessop said that he envisions the loan to be a longer term than the typical repo trade, they are still a tri-party agreement that's familiar to everyone on Wall Street, stating that we want to develop a world-class brokerage capability for assets of all types. Crypto is being accepted for more mainstream financial users these days. And now you got Visa credit cards that offer Bitcoin rewards and PayPal holdings, which allow their customers to use the digital asset with their millions of merchants on their network. BlockFi will risk manage the famous volatility of Bitcoin by offering cash worth 60% of a loan backed by the digital asset. This is according to the Chief Executive Officer, Zach Prince. He states that the program has room for client level customizations and may adjust to meet the needs of the larger firms. So in conclusion, Bitcoin's surge may still prove to be a bubble, but even if it pops this time, this year's rush to cryptocurrencies should serve as a warning to the US government and all governments who are money printers everywhere, inflating their currencies every single day. So to these governments, do not assume that your traditional currencies are the only stores of value nowadays. People are trusting Bitcoin every single day as more and more join in. Tech-savvy people are not likely to stop looking for other alternatives until they find or invent one, just like Bitcoin. And stepping in to regulate the digital currency boom, as some governments are already considering, may only accelerate the populist revolt. So the harder they come at us, the more and more people will join this Bitcoin ride. Like the video, share, subscribe for some daily crypto content. I have been Mr. Nakamoto Crypto and I'm out.
Bitcoin under $8,000.
Buy it.
Bitcoin under $5,000.
Buy it.
Bitcoin over $10,000.
Buy it.
Bitcoin is over $20,000.
Buy it.
Bitcoin under $8,000.
Buy it.
Bitcoin under $5,000.
Buy it.
Bitcoin is over $10,000.
Buy it.
Bitcoin is over $20,000.
Buy it.
Best performing asset in the last 10 years. True. Look into crypto, we need volunteers. No need to tiptoe, it won't disappear. Do your research, history made it clear.